Greetings and welcome to Hexed Encountered. I'm Joe. In this video, we will be doing the second of the two scenarios provided in the demo of Burden of Command. I did do a video on the first scenario, and that would be something that you may want to watch. I gave a little bit more of an introduction than I will this time in terms of what the game is about, so I would recommend you check that out to kind of give a little bit of a short version of it. This is a tactical war game that has a very strong role-playing element in that it wants to, or it strives to demonstrate what it was like at a personal level to command soldiers during the Second World War. So there's a lot of emotional intensity to it, and it's an intriguing concept, and it's very well done. But I think the best way to demonstrate that is to actually play it. So I will hit scenarios here, and we're going to play the Sacred Ground. We played Baden-Württemberg in the first one, so we're going to play Sacred Ground here. And we're going to click, and now we'll load it up, and it takes a few moments, and then we'll have an intro. Here's the intro, and there'll be a video with a veteran of the Second World War, which provides some great context. And we do have a warning about in the final game there will be graphic violence in it, because this is, demonstrating the human cost of war.
There were two fellows in my squad who could speak German. One, a young man from Chicago whose parents had been killed in a German concentration camp. He was gotten out of Europe, out of Germany, by an uncle who lived in Chicago, who was able to manage some way of getting him back, or getting him to Chicago at the age of 14. He was a very bright fellow, a Jewish fellow. And he had an intense feeling about the Germans.
Okay, so we will continue here. All right, so we are somewhere in France. And you can read the text here. The boom of artillery recedes in the south as the men of the 3rd platoon take a moment to rest amongst the rubble-strewn square. Most sprawl in the dregs of the day. Several eye the ruins of a nearby church. Corporal Davis, the bandit, bandage about his arm, dark with blood, whispers a little prayer of thanks. So here's some of the role-playing right here. You get to choose what type of comment you might say or an action you might take. In this case, you can say, that you wish you still had a chaplain, that you say a prayer from the living for living, and thankfully it's the thought that counts. I'll do this one. Davis will keep his arm. Even better, with a sprinkle of sulfur, he should recover quickly. Okay, so 3rd platoon commander goes over to Corporal Davis, speaks quietly with him. Their uniforms share a scatter of mud and blood, but Lieutenant Dearborn has lost none of his bearing or, judging from Davis's little nod, his determination. So Dearborn is one of your platoon commanders. In the demo, you are playing as a captain, so you have control of several platoons, and you have obviously lieutenants who are underneath you that command those platoons. It's a little note that gives you a little bit of a that little touch of historicity that I think is very strong in this game, talking about how they wouldn't salute because that denotes that this is an officer, this is a leader, and that would be prime pickings for a sniper, as you would expect. So Dearborn is an educated guy. He knows some Latin, and so I mean that's what I'm talking about when I talk about the the very atmospheric kind of historical element to this game. It draws you in. This isn't just a hex encounter type of war game where you move your pieces around and you have combat and whatever. There's a lot of background and flavor to it. So here, Dearborn is somewhat bemoaning the destruction that was taking place in the war. Obviously, there were a lot of old historical buildings that were, destroyed in the fighting, and that's, sad. Obviously, the human cost is the biggest cost, but, losing touch with some of these things from the past was also, not a good thing. Let's put it that way. So here you can provide some background to gain a Jewish perspective by playing as a Jewish character. You can say, oh, they'll rebuild, and you can kind of agree with him. So let's just do that one. Right, so sometimes you'll get this little kind of note here of what you're going to, basically where your head is, or you're providing background on your character. That's all part of the role-playing element, which is really strong. So, like I said, this is the kind of thing that really gets you sucked into the atmosphere of the game. Doctrine, cunning, or zeal, discipline, professionalism, or caution, compassion, or idealism. Let's play somewhat compassionately. Right, it cannot be healthy to know that one must destroy so much of what we have come to liberate. I think that's a good one. Okay, Jeep arrives with First Sergeant Grant, who snags a message from the driver. Okay, so we have our orders. We're going north of town to help out the 1st Battalion. So we're going to be only taking the 3rd Platoon and our weapons platoon. So that's only half our company. I'm sure Lieutenant Stern will be overjoyed. Lieutenant Stern is the weapons commander, weapons platoon. All right, so there you go. There's some nice interplay between your subordinates as well, which is really nice. Your sergeants, some of the individual soldiers, and obviously your immediate underlings, I guess, for lack of a better word. Your fellow officers who are under your command, I guess, would be a better way to put it. All right, Germans are dug in along the tree line, probably a machine gun or two. Once we figure out where they are and deal with them, 1st Battalion will make a bigger push. Rough odds, difficult coordination, and we've already taken some losses. My men will lead, Dearborn says, and gestures for them to form up. Nearby 3rd Platoon gets to its feet once more and waits for the word. All right. Let's order reconnaissance. Okay, here we go. All right, so as you can see, now, as I said, I already played the first scenario of the two in the demo, so this is somewhat familiar. I mean, it's a hex-based map, as you can see. You can zoom in and out, you can move around, etc., etc. Here is our first squad of the 3rd Platoon, commanded by Lieutenant Dearborn, of course. It is part of his platoon. He's up here. He's our only active commander. You can have other commanders in here as well. At some point, Stern will show up, and he'll be here as well. And I assume that my character or your character, the player character, will show up as well. But for now, we're sending first squad out to recon the area. So, as you would expect in any war game, things like cover and the mode of your advance and so on all matter. There is a creep command. If we click on our unit here, you can see this creep command, which allows them to only move 1 hex. It costs 2 orders. Orders are the currency by which you take actions, essentially, right? So each officer has a certain number of orders, and each unit or squad, in general, they're mostly squads, they have actions of their own that get used up. So you can only push your men so far, and you can only do so much commanding. And there are things that affect that, whether it's experience or morale, etc. Those are all going to have impact on the number of orders you can use. So as you see, when I clicked on this, we got our actions that are available. The ones up top, these are the leader's orders that he can give, right? He can bolster them, which improves their morale and gives them extra movement points. It also helps them with combat. For gaining initiative, which is kind of, I fire first, which is always important, and their firepower as well. So you can see they've improved their chances for morale checks, etc. You got the whole list here. That's nice. You hover over it, it'll show you everything that this is going to do. Then we have our rally, which works as you would expect. If you have a unit that's been suppressed, you can bump up their morale by using your leadership. Then we have press, which is just like if the unit has used up all its orders, this will get them an additional order so that they can actually do one more thing. You're just pushing them. There is of course, a cost to doing so, but that's all part of the game, of course, as well. And then this would be support, which is disabled, but that's just calling in artillery or air support, basically. You can read all the information there. If you want more, you can pause the video, read what it says, and you're good to go. Then, of course, we have creep, which I already talked about. It makes you less likely to be ambushed, essentially. So we do have a little bit of cover here. We've got kind of a hedge here, and then we have some trees up here as well. Now the other thing, if we go here and click on this, you can see its line of sight. Everything that can see it, basically. You can also click this button, and then anything you hover over is going to show you the same thing, so you can see what, from here you can see we're basically invisible to anything north of basically 2 or 3 hexes from us. So, these two along this line is really all that can see us. So we're probably safe to actually take a move order and move up. Now we're going to turn that off. We're going to make sure both are selected. They'll slide to the left or right. See, if I click that, Dearborn alone is activated. If I click him again, both are activated. So we're going to move up to, I guess we'll move, and you can use control click, right click to set waypoints. So we're just going to make this move right here.
Machine gun!
Okay, so they're attempting op fire. They can see this hex. We do have a little bit of cover here, so we didn't take that much suppression. Okay, so they passed the morale check and did not retreat. Now you can see by looking here, the dots indicate how many orders. So they used 2 orders because they moved. So they have 1 left, and he used 3 orders, and he has 2 left. So what we can do now is we can bolster, right? And you saw their morale go up. And now we can do, if we want to, we can recon by fire to see if we have the, I don't think we really have the range to actually hit them, but we can try it. And it looks like we don't, because we have, you can see the yellow squares. These are the areas we can reach with fire, I believe. So I don't think we can actually shoot that way. So those are the, you click this and you can recon by shooting at, you know, say we wanted to shoot here to see if there's anything in these buildings. And there isn't, as far as we can tell. So now he's spent, the unit is spent. We just click this button down here and that'll end his round. The Germans will get around, and I'm sure the machine gun will fire on us, of course. And now they're under fire, so they're being suppressed. We go to the next turn. Okay. Now we got another little information here from Grant. His finger stabs towards the flickering light of a muzzle flash in the distance. See it? There's that damn Kraut machine gun. And now you know where it is. The mortars can play. All right, so we're going to call Lieutenant Stern, and he's going to drop mortars on him. Give me rounds on the Jewish cemetery. So the Germans are hiding in a cemetery. Yeah, so Stern is unhappy that they're going to be firing on a cemetery, obviously desecrating the dead that are buried there. You know, if we call down fire on it, the rounds are doing the Nazis' work, and you know, so you had this is a moral choice you're making now, right? Do you put the safety of your men first? Because if you assault the machine gun without suppressing it, then that's obviously going to cause casualties. But on the other hand, if you hit the cemetery, then that's being, you know, disrespectful, desecrating the dead that are buried there. In this case, I'm going to opt to minimize the casualties of the living, and we're going to strike the cemetery. And this is, I'm going to explain it to him, but it is going to stress him out. So this is, you know, or you can back off, you know, you can take his reservations into account and say, okay, you know what, we're just going to do it. But I think it's more important to save the living. The dead, you can't do anything more for the dead. It's a tough choice, right? But this is what you're faced with. So we're going to shoot. Right, so he's unhappy, he's angry that you're making him do this, but you have to do what you have to do. Alright, so Stern's men missed, but now you can see we've got our captain here, and then we also have Stern. So, let's see. You got a machine gun. We got 3rd Platoon's 2nd Squad and 3rd Platoon's 3rd Squad. Here's our captain. Now, I mentioned this in the previous video, but you can actually rename him. Right? If you come in here, you can hit edit and you can change his name. So we just did, I always mess this up. And say Captain Hexed, right? Why not? Then you just hit save edit. Now you can also change your company's insignia if you want to be Screaming Eagles or something, you can do so. We've got this guy down here. So you can do things like that. All of our mindsets are inactive at the moment. So there's a lot, and you can change your portrait as well. So if you wanted to change and look like someone else, you can do that, you know, save and exit. And our picture has changed, right? So now you got a little cigar sticking out of your mouth. All right. So as you can see now, the mortar squad has fired. So they have used both their orders. Now what you can also do, and I mentioned this again previously, is that you can have your commander, your captain, give orders to units so that they can move up. So let's say we want to order the third squad here. You can see there's this take command captain. So we'll expend an order to activate it instead of its current leading officer. So even though Dearborn has used all but one of his orders and he's no longer active anyway, he'll get another chance to use that order, but we can actually activate this unit for him and then have it do something. So we're going to move up, and then we're going to move up again, and they're probably going to take fire. Okay. Now we've got weapons of the weapon squad as well. I could also just take my captain. He's the only one active currently, right? And we can move him up to be with the third squad. So let's do that. I think we can do that. We can't do that. Why can't we do this? Oh, we have to do it more like just captain. All right. So now he has 2 orders left. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to activate second squad as well. And we're going to move them here. And then here. And then they're going to take out fire on them. All right. So now the captain still has 1 order left that he could use, and we could use it to bolster or rally, right? These guys both are suppressed. So we could take the captain and we could rally somebody. And you can rally the unit you can rally a unit that is adjacent to your position if you're the overall commander. So let's oh, right, we can't because they're not fresh. So I could press them instead, but I don't really see the point in doing that. So let's switch off to Stern here. And what do we want to do? Let's move our machine gun squad. So we'll activate him. Oh, Lieutenant Dearborn is still leading. Okay, well, I thought I finished that round. Okay. So let's move machine gun squad. Okay, and now I'm just going to end here. Okay, we heard a tank. I wonder if it was diesel or gasoline. I'm sure it was a tank. Where is it? North end near the house. Hoping for it just to be a Panzer III. And okay, so we have a Panzer sound up here. That's our objective. All right. So the first thing we're going to need to do is let's have Stern activate first. And we're going to have the mortar again fire. So we're going to fire our 60mm mortar. And we're going to hit this squad again. No spotter line of sight. Well, that sucks. Okay. Let's do this then. Okay. Okay. That time we did put some mortars on them. So now let's do a rally.
The men depend on you, Captain.
And we have 3 orders left. We're going to do another rally here. And we'll do a... what are we going to do? We're going to move here, I think. No, I want to move the captain. And we're going to rally him.
Ready for more?
Okay. Nope, that's bolster. Okay, we'll end that lead around. They'll fire on us again. Alright, now. Okay. Alright. Let's move our machine gun squad up.
Don't get frisky!
Okay, so I think I'm gonna stop.
I'm not going out there.
Okay, and here come the tanks. Okay, so we have a bazooka team that's on site, so we're going to try and use this. Kraut anti-aircraft gun, 20 millimeter. And we're going to have to dig them out. Okay, so I'm gonna pull back. This is gonna be the end of the demo here. So Grant, he agrees apparently. You know, taking on a flat gun with small arms and mortars is a suicide pact. We only have the 60 millimeter mortars, so they're not big. Yeah. saving our men to fight another day. So we got a draw on the mission, gained 17 prestige there, but our men, major victory, we took very light casualties, and we earned some loyalty from the men for keeping them alive. So that's always something that you want to keep in mind, is you want to preserve your men because your men are important, of course. All right.
He has surmounted charges into desperately defended beaches. He has fought his tedious, patient way through the ultimate in fortified zones. He has endured cold, hunger, fatigue. His companion has been danger. Death has dogged his footsteps. He and his platoon commanders have given us an example of loyalty, devotion to duty, and indomitable courage that will live in our hearts as long as we admire those qualities in men.
All right. There you go. Okay, that's going to do it. Thank you for watching. I hope you got a good sense of what the game is all about. This is more than just a simple war game. I think it probably will appeal to people beyond just war gamers because of the, the emotional hook, I guess would be one way to put it. The extra dynamics of this, demonstrating that. The true human cost of war, I guess would be one way to put it. Asking men to do kind of really difficult things from a morality standpoint, as well as, putting their lives on the line, and the importance of preserving them and earning trust and working as a team. All of that stuff is all important, and it's all included in here. So, as I said, I hope you enjoyed. Please consider liking, sharing, and or subscribing if you did. And of course, when this game is released in full, you can expect probably a decent amount more content from me on this, because this is a game that I am going to really enjoy playing once it is released early next year. So until then, I'm Joe. This is Hex Encountered. And until next time, as always, happy gaming.